Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and this video is a really fun tag video entitled 10 luxury items I would buy if I lost my entire collection. And I was tagged by Kim from KK Love CC. She has a really great channel and I will link it down below. And I'll also link the original video from Isabel Style who created this tag. Just a few caveats before we get started. Firstly, I'm only going to talk about branded luxury designer items. So I have a few pieces like the ruby earrings that I inherited from my grandma, a custom gold and pearl ring that used to be my mom's but she's given to me, and over the years I've been gifted or bought myself gold, platinum, diamond jewelry from local jewelers, all of which if I didn't own I would absolutely want back in my collection. Some of them of course would be impossible to repurchase, like my grandma's earrings, but it goes without saying that if anything happened to any of those pieces, in theory I would want to replace all of them. But for the purposes of this video, we're not going to talk about any of those pieces. And the other caveat that I'll make is that I will leave out luxury home. If you've watched my channel before, you know how I feel about luxurious home pieces, the LV trunks, the Hermes tableware, Tiffany vases. But again, to simplify this video, know that I would absolutely replace all of my home pieces, but we're not going to focus on those in this video because I could easily list 10 home pieces that I would absolutely purchase or repurchase. And lastly, even though this wasn't specified, I'm going to assume that I would have to buy all of these at today's retail prices. Let's start with fine jewelry. I only have a few pieces of luxury fine jewelry, but I can honestly say every piece that I have purchased so far, I would absolutely repurchase. But what I would repurchase first is this Van Cleef white gold guilloche vintage Alhambra necklace. This particular necklace is the 2020 holiday pendant, so you can only get this on the resale market, but Van Cleef has introduced a white gold guilloche necklace in the permanent line without the diamond. What's funny is that it cost more than the original holiday pendant with the diamond, so if you did buy the holiday pendant back in 2020, good on you. It turns out that was a great deal because it has a diamond and it costs less than the one that they sell now without the diamond. Nevertheless, if I didn't have the 2020 holiday pendant, I would absolutely buy the white gold guilloche necklace that they sell now. I wear this necklace all the time. It's so beautiful because of the way that the guilloche is cut. It has a magnificent sparkle, but it's not so blingy that I can't wear it every day. So this is one of those necklaces that I absolutely wear at least 3 times a week to work, but I've also worn it many times for special occasions as well. It's very versatile. In general, I enjoy both yellow gold and white gold jewelry. I would say that I wear white gold, platinum, or silver tone jewelry slightly more than yellow gold, which is why I get so much use out of the Van Cleef white gold guilloche necklace. That being said, the next item on my list is the Cartier Juste un Clou in yellow gold. And even though I love white gold, for Cartier, I haven't yet found a piece that I enjoy more in white gold than yellow gold. And that's certainly the case for the Juste un Clou. This is the full size, not the slim. I really enjoy the unique design of this piece. And that has always been my criteria for designer luxury jewelry, is that I buy the pieces that are unique and heritage to the brand. And by that, I mean this nail design is very unique to Cartier. So if I went anywhere else for this type of nail bracelet, it would be a dupe of the original. When a brand creates such a unique design that's a hallmark to the house, if I can afford it, I want the original design or nothing at all. So that is the number one reason that I would choose this. I just find the design so unique and edgy. I also find this bracelet very comfortable, and one of my major criteria for any jewelry is that I need to be able to take it off at night. I can't sleep with jewelry on. I've had this bracelet now for 4 years. I've never had a quality issue. It has served me so well, and I would absolutely repurchase this exact bracelet. This was a tough one because I do love the Clash bracelet, and that is another bracelet that I would absolutely repurchase, but I would get my Juste un Clou first. Next up is a watch. I would repurchase my two-tone Rolex Datejust in this exact size, the 31mm. I only have one other watch. It is the Cartier Tank, and I just told you that I wear white gold and silver tone jewelry slightly more, but I would still get the two-tone Rolex first because it's more versatile. I will eventually do an everyday jewelry video, but what I can tell you is that I have an everyday gold stack and an everyday white gold silver stack. And while I don't mind mixing metals, I would be more comfortable wearing my two-toned Rolex with my silver stack than I would be with wearing my steel Cartier tank with all yellow gold jewelry, especially because I wear my watch and my bracelets all on the same wrist, and the Rolex Datejust works well with gold or white gold jewelry. The other reason that I would pick the Rolex first is that I would get this exact same watch, whereas while I love the Cartier tank, there are lots of stainless steel watches that I'd likely enjoy just as much. I only have one accessory on this list, and that is the Louis Vuitton clay pochette. This was a no-brainer for me because this is an actual item that I've lost and I've repurchased. So I lost my original key pouch in 2018, and I tried to get another one that year and they were sold out. And I said, you know what? It's just a key pouch. It's not that big of a deal. I can buy one from any brand and it will be fine. So I got a couple of Henry Bendel pouches since they were going out of business and I wanted a keepsake anyway. Cut to 3 years later and my Henry Bendel SLGs look like they've been through the ringer. I finally gave in and said, fine, I will repurchase the key pouch. And it was so expensive by then. But after experimenting with other brands, I've just come to the conclusion that no one does SLGs like Louis Vuitton. And for certain things, I just like what I like. And I sucked it up and I repurchased my key pouch in the exact same specs that I originally bought it in probably 9 to 10 years ago. And I'm not ashamed to say, if I lost it again, I would repurchase it again. Let's talk ready to wear. And this is an item that I don't own, but if I were starting my collection all over again, one of the first items that I would get is a Chanel tweed jacket. And this is the only item on my list that I would go pre-owned for. And there are a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, I haven't loved any of the tweed jackets that Chanel has released in recent years. Secondly, the price of these jackets have now become extortionate. Unlike the bags, the cost savings for buying pre-owned Chanel ready-to-wear is huge. And lastly, I've tried on many tweed jackets. The cut, the material, the lining, the chains, unlike the bags, are very hard to replicate and replicate well, and likely not worth it for the people that do that kind of thing. The materials and labor to make a good dupe of a Chanel tweed jacket, if you're thinking about return on investment, it makes way more sense to divert that to the bags, where you could spend less money on a product that looks more realistic and, let's face it, has much bigger demand. The amount of people looking to buy a fake Chanel classic flap is much greater than the people that are looking to buy a fake Chanel tweed jacket. So all that to say, you come across replicas a lot less, and when you do, they are so obvious to spot. But other Chanel ready-to-wear, so the t-shirts or the sweaters with the logos on them, would be pretty easy to create a decent quality replica, but it's very hard with the tweed jackets. So this is definitely one of the items that I wish that I'd bought back in the day, and if I were starting over my collection, I would absolutely buy now. Last on my list for ready-to-wear is Hermes knitwear. So here's an example of a sweater that I bought at the Hermes private sale back in October. It's a silk cashmere blend. There are two things that I discovered about Hermes knitwear. Firstly, I love the fit. It's very elegant. And secondly, I really like how it maintains the shape. So I've worn this sweater countless times in the last 7 months or so, and it retains its shape beautifully. So if I were starting my collection over again, I would absolutely repurchase Hermes knitwear again. Now let's talk bags. And in considering which bags to buy first, I thought less about which bags were necessarily my favorite bags and more about a combination of aesthetics, practicality, and versatility. And hopefully you see what I mean as I go through the bags. Now, first up are two Louis Vuitton bags. And Louis Vuitton is by far not my favorite brand for bags, but these are the bags that I use the most. So firstly, I would have to rebuy the Neverfull, probably in the Damier Ben. I've had this one for for about 13 years. It's seen better days, but it is a workhorse, and to that end, I use it for work at least 3 months straight every single year. I carry a lot of stuff. I'm now back in the office for most of the week, so I need a big bag for work. And the Neverfull is my favorite work bag of all time. My second choice that I would absolutely repurchase, no brainer, is the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis. This is my mommy weekend bag. Ballet, swim lessons, tennis, playground, Dave & Buster's. This bag has seen it all. And I can honestly say, if something happened to this bag, I would repurchase it. And in fact, this is my second Pochette Métis because the original, which I bought in 2015, was recalled in 2018, and Louis Vuitton gave me a brand new bag. Now, a lot of people were either offered or requested a store credit to buy a different bag. I didn't even bother to ask for a store credit because I knew I needed the Pochette Métis back in my life ASAP. Next up is the Chanel bag that I would repurchase first. Now, this was a hard one because I chose the Chanel Mini, and this one I bought in 2014. It's the black caviar with silver hardware. Of course, I would not be able to get this in this same combination. I'd have to choose lambskin. Now, I prefer Chanel lambskin to caviar, so that wouldn't be a particularly big deal for me, although I do have a red lambskin mini from 2020, and I will tell you the lambskin is not the same as my lambskin classic flap from 2011. But nevertheless, if I had to, I would get the black lambskin mini with silver hardware, which is still currently in production. Now, this rectangular mini is neither my favorite Chanel bag, nor is it my most used Chanel bag. So you might be asking, why did you choose that one? My favorite Chanel bag, actually my favorite bag, period, is my black medium lambskin classic flap with gold hardware. I paid about $2,700 or $2,800 for that bag with a Saks discount back in the day. This is controversial, but if I didn't already own it, I would repurchase it today. I would have to save up 2 years worth of Saks rewards points to get as much off as possible. But yes, I would cry at the register, but I would do it. I love it that much. My most used Chanel bag is the classic flap in the maxi size. That bag now costs more than my Birkins. There's just no way. No, it's just a no. So I go for the mini first because in the world of Chanel, it's still below $5,000. If I used a bunch of Saks rewards, I'd probably get it around $3,500 or so. Although I haven't been inside a Chanel boutique in years at this point, I have heard that they seem to be rationing Chanel minis, especially in the black color, so it may be a bit difficult for me to find, but where there's a will, there's a way. So in short, I would repurchase first a black rectangular mini with silver hardware, and later down the line, I would repurchase a classic flap with tears in my eyes. Now, you may be wondering which Hermes bag I would repurchase first. And if you watch my channel, you probably know I have a few Birkins, I have a few Kellys, I have a Constance, I have an Evelyn. Now, this may surprise you. It would have to be my Kelly 25. However, I would choose the Retourné. Now, hear me out. I do love the Cellier. You can fight with me in the comments, but for me, the Kelly in the Cellier construction is a more aesthetically pleasing bag. However, when you use these bags regularly, you can really figure out which bags are the most convenient and comfortable to use. And for me, that is hands down the Kelly Retourné. Again, if I lost my entire collection and I had to repurchase, I would also repurchase a Kelly Cellier. I still love that bag, but I would absolutely repurchase the Kelly Retourné first. And on a related tangent, if you look at the Hermes price increase this year, one of the bags that made the biggest jump in price was the Kelly 25 Retourné. And if I were a guessing woman, I'd say a lot of people who collect these bags and use them regularly have also come to a similar conclusion as I did. Now, if I didn't own any of these bags and you were just asking me to pick one, I would for sure go with the Kelly Cellier because I would be choosing just on visual appeal. But at this point, because I have a really good understanding of what I enjoy using the most. Hands down, I would pick the Kelly Retourné first. I do love this combination, but I also love black with palladium, so that would be fine as well. Also, from a very practical Hermes shopping perspective, if I had any idea how much harder it would be to get Kelly's versus Birkins, especially in the smaller sizes at my boutique, I would have requested Kelly's first and then bought my Birkins later. So this is 10. It was very hard to stop at 10 because of course I wanted to include my Louis Vuitton agenda, which I use every single day, my Hermes Chypre sandals. So there's so many other luxury items that I would absolutely repurchase, but those are the 10 items that I would repurchase first. So tell me what you think of my list. For those of you that have watched my channel for a while and know my collection, did any of my choices surprise you? I'm super curious what your 10 items or your top 5 or top 3 items would be. Feel free to write them in the comments and let's chat. I'm not sure who did this video already, so I'll just tag a few people in my description. Many of you probably have already done this tag. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. That would make my day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.